welcome back to Way of the Heron. It's been a while since I've done a video, but we've got a whole big run of them coming along now, so happy days. I've got Hopper here helping me today, so it's pretty busy playing with some flies. So the first one we're going to do today is called the Leopard's Caress. So when we were thinking of this one, we were kind of saying, how does a leopard attack something? And it kind of swats like that from all the videos we could find on National Geographic. So we figured the closest thing to that in sword fighting terms exactly was a semi-affondo, which is if you were to stab someone, you stab directly like this, as you all know. A semi-affondo is a half stab. So affondo, stab, semi-affondo is a half stab. So basically how this works is, instead of stabbing directly, you angle the tip of the blade and run the sword along them. So instead of coming in like this, the blade is running along your opponent in a half stab, and that is the Leopard's Caress. So I'll give you some practical examples now, not on Hopper, on someone else. Right, so a practical example of a semi-affondo is basically, as I said, when you're fighting your opponent, to do a fondo or just a stab is, well, it's just a stab into their chest, like a direct movement of the blade. Semi-affondo is a little different. The way I learned it was from fencing. Actually, you can get rid of the guard, we don't need it for this lesson. The way I learned it from fencing, which is your regular stab, and a semi-affondo is like that. So again, drawing the blade across your opponent, and it's for kind of piercing in all the little nooks and crannies and gaps in their guard. So if he takes a guard, and say he's not a very good swordsman and his guard is slightly off to the side, you can exploit that with a semi-affondo by coming in this way, or coming down that way, or even along the top of the head like that. And that is the Leopard's Caress. So super easy, super cool, easy to learn, hard to master kind of thing. When you're practicing this, really put the tip of the blade out to the side so you don't stab someone. Like, you put the tip of the blade sideways and then just push the sword, and that's how you learn this. Don't try and do a stab and turn it at the last minute, because that's dangerous practice. Just make sure to turn the blade and push, and that's how you learn the Leopard's Caress. And that was made famous by Galad fighting Eamon Valda. Okay, see you in the next one. Hello again. We just covered Leopard's Caress. So the natural evolution of that is River of Light, which is a combination that uses several Leopard's Caress. Now, online this is described as a drawing motion, or it's described as a drawing attack in the books, and a lot of the sources online actually took that to mean like a draw. But this is where I'm going to disagree with sources online, because I think this is actually a drawing strike. So in sword fighting, there's three types of attack. There's a chop or a cut, a chop, and a touch. But there's also a draw, which is where you draw, like the Leopard's Caress we just covered. So I think this is a combination that uses kind of three of the Leopard's Caress in a row. So we've taken River of Light to be a combo somewhat like this. So starting with a semi-affondo, so Leopard's Caress, then circling the blade like this, back, flipping the blade, and then coming in the opposite direction with another semi-affondo. So altogether it looks like this: semi-affondo, draw back, semi-affondo. So 1, 2, 3. And that's our interpretation of River of Light. I'll give you a practical example now again. Practically, you do this like in the middle of a sword fight, so there's a good chance you wouldn't just launch into this if they were in a resting guard position. You could, but realistically you'd want to have done something to move their guard away first, and then when they're open, then you take your opportunity. So this combo is just going to look like 1, 2, 3, and it's just 3 slices, 1, 2, 3. So again, super quickly, it's 1, 2, 3, and that's River of Light. And it's just super hard to block because each attack is coming in at a different vector. So if you can imagine the first one coming at you like this, the second one is a drawing back motion, and then the third one shoots down lower on the right hand side like that. And any combination of of like direction and level as well. So you could go 1, 2, 3 and come up the way, or you could go 1, 2, 3. As long as you know the blade is kind of following this vector, that's your river of light. Just keep throwing leopard caresses and you got it. See you in the next one. Nice. Now, so we have learned the leopard's caress and we have learned river of light. It's only suiting that I teach you a defense for them. So the defense for both of those moves and many other moves is rain in high wind. So this again used by Galad as a desperate defense against river of light in Knife of Dreams. And what we've interpreted this to be is like a last ditch. Not a last ditch, because it could be premeditated, but a defense, like a lightning fast defense from a very high position. Our reasoning behind that is, one, what is a move that could counter river of light? And then two, what does rain in high wind do? It comes down and sideways. There's a block in most styles of sword fighting. It's done from a high guard, so we're going to teach it from Swallow rides the air, which in fairness, there's very few guards you can launch this from effectively. So we're just going to stick with Swallow rides the air for now. But basically what this guard is this. Well, not guard, parry. Sorry, it's more of a parry. 1, 2. And how this works is you grip firmly with your top hand and try and hold that in space. So don't let it wobble around too much. And with your bottom hand, you're pulling towards the side the attack is coming in from. So if he's attacking the left side of my face, I pull left with my hand, and that rotates and flicks the blade in this direction. Now that's actually really important because you need that strength to utilize the full power of this move. It's probably the most anime thing I've ever said. The reason being is because this can be a static block. Bam, you didn't get me, fight goes on. But you can also use it as like a parata de contra or like an advancing block. It'll counter itself, and also, so imagine a situation where somebody is launching a thrust towards your head. They're attacking with the moon rises over water. You can block it and that'll knock their sword aside, or you can really use this to take advantage and win the fight. So from here, they're attacking again anywhere kind of above your abdomen. You can step in, hit this, and then that will knock their sword aside, hopefully, a bit like Courtier taps his fan, and it opens you up for a counterattack. I'll give you a practical example of this in a minute, but basically you're here, it opens you up for all sorts of nasty ass combos. You could even go into River of Light if you wanted. But yeah, no, this is rain and high wind. Obi-Wan Kenobi uses it all the time. So, bit of a crossover. But yeah, so I'll give you a practical example. Right, so as a practical example then, this is going to defend against anything inside your head, your neck, your shoulder, and maybe the top of your rib cage if you're in a high guard. So, you're up in your high guard, they go for a quick attack to your arms, your face, anything like that, and what you do is step out and block this way. Rain and high wind. So practically the quickest way I've found to do this is instead of turning your whole body as one, you want to lead by pulling your bottom arm out, kind of keeping this one to fight it a little bit, and what that does is give you this flick motion, which is incredibly fast to do, and really helps you get this out as a last minute reaction. So again, attack as quick as you can there. Like I was in the guard position before he finished his swing, which is the pure advantage of this move, how quick it is just to flick from here. If they're going for, say, a stab motion, you can step in with it as well. So, and really put them in a position where they're at a disadvantage. You can go in with the Leopards caress or whatever. but it's very good. And then you can alternate between it. So if you go for a rapid left-right combo, 1, 2, you can just swap between the guards all day like that, and it's going to keep you safe. So a quick example of how this will be used in a combo is, again, go for the stab to the head, stepping in into the river undercuts the bank. So altogether, that just looks like this. 1, 2, and that's how you flow into those two forms and absolutely destroy someone. Hope you enjoyed it. More videos on the way soon. One particularly cool video that's still a secret, but keep your eye on the dusty wheel, that's all I say. A couple of hints to it in this video. Until then, you stay classy, San Diego.